Imagine closing your eyes tonight, drifting into sleep, and waking up to replay your dreams as if they were a movie. For centuries, humanity has tried to capture the fleeting images and emotions of the dream world. In 2025, that once impossible vision is edging into reality. Scientists and engineers have developed dream recording technologies that can turn the subconscious into something you can watch, study, and even share. And this is only the beginning of how artificial intelligence is learning to decode the hidden language of the mind. Dreams have always been mysterious, ephemeral stories our brains tell us in the dark. Until now, they slipped away in fragments. But new advances in brain scanning and artificial intelligence are beginning to change that. For the first time in history, humanity is building tools that let us revisit our subconscious narratives. It's an era where even the most private landscapes of the mind are becoming accessible. If you want to follow this journey as it unfolds, make sure you subscribe, like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what comes next. At the heart of this revolution are two methods: brain scanning with AI decoding and AI-powered dream transcription. In the lab, scientists use fMRI and EEG to monitor the brain's activity while people dream. Volunteers are gently awakened during REM sleep, asked to describe their dreams, and this information is paired with the recorded neural patterns. Over time, machine learning systems learn to associate certain brain signals with specific images or themes. The result? Blurry but recognizable reconstructions of dream imagery. In early experiments, accuracy reached about 60%. By 2025, researchers in Japan reported improvements closer to 70% for certain visual objects, suggesting that the brain's internal movies are more decipherable than we once imagined. These reconstructions are far from perfect, but they have stunned both scientists and the public. Imagine seeing a hazy sketch of a cat, a tree, or a human face pulled directly from someone's dream, stitched together not from memory, but from the raw language of neural firing. Each breakthrough adds another piece to the puzzle of how the brain transforms thought into imagery. The difference between a 60% and a 70% success rate may sound small, but in machine learning terms, it marks a massive leap forward, akin to going from static-filled radio to the first clear transmission. Meanwhile, a parallel path is unfolding in consumer technology. Commercial dream recorders, like the open-source device launched by Dutch design studio Modem, let people narrate their dreams upon waking. The device captures the verbal account and uses an embedded AI model to generate short, hazy video reels inspired by the narration. These dream journals look like surreal art films, blurry, low-resolution visions that mirror the foggy nature of memory. This approach doesn't read neural patterns directly, but it taps into AI's ability to transform language into imagery, giving everyday people a way to capture the fleeting essence of their dreams. Consider what this means for the average person. For generations, dream journals were written in notebooks, filled with vague notes like flying over mountains or running through a crowded city. Now, instead of cryptic sentences, a person can wake up, speak their dream into a device, and watch as AI brings it to life in cinematic form. It may not be perfect, but it is visceral, strange, and sometimes hauntingly beautiful. The implications are staggering. Imagine a world where artists wake up, record their dreams, and use them as direct inspiration for novels, films, or paintings. A filmmaker could build an entire scene from a dream's surreal details. A songwriter could take the strange emotional juxtapositions of the night and weave them into lyrics. Architects could study dream imagery for new design concepts that feel alive with symbolic meaning. For many, this technology could become a mirror for the subconscious, providing a new dimension for self-reflection and personal growth. But there's also a scientific goldmine here. Neuroscientists are already using dream reconstruction to understand how the brain organizes images, emotions, and memories. A major breakthrough in early 2025 came from a project called NeuroPictor, which developed a pre-training model capable of interpreting fMRI brain data across multiple individuals. Unlike older systems that had to be trained individually, this model learned a shared visual perception. In other words, it began to crack a universal code for how human brains represent images. This could accelerate not only dream decoding, but also brain-computer interfaces, prosthetics, and therapies for neurological conditions. This shift matters because it suggests that one day, dream decoding won't be limited to specialized labs or elite research groups. A universal model could eventually work across subjects, democratizing dream analysis in ways that were once unimaginable. In a world already shaped by personal data, the idea that our private dreamscapes could be mapped into a universal visual language feels both exhilarating and unnerving. Of course, we need to ask, how far could this go? Could we one day play back dreams in perfect clarity, or even share them with others? That vision might still be decades away, but the building blocks are here now. Scientists caution that even the most advanced systems today only capture fragments. Yet, as AI models become more powerful, and as brain imaging tools become more refined, the dream frontier grows closer. Some predict that in the next 5 to 10 years, dream reconstructions could become sharp enough to rival low-definition video. If that happens, the line between memory and recording may blur forever. This isn't without challenges. Dreams are deeply personal, and the thought of someone else accessing them raises profound ethical concerns. Privacy becomes not just about browsing history or text messages, but about the raw material of your subconscious mind. What happens if advertisers or governments gain access to your unspoken fears and desires? Some ethicists warn that dream data could be exploited in ways far more invasive than current digital surveillance. Others point out the mental health risks. Would replaying your nightmares intensify them? Could reliving certain dreams alter your perception of reality? The stakes are not hypothetical. They are as real as the devices already sitting on bedside tables. For now, consumer devices intentionally keep things vague and artistic. The blurry, hazy style is not only practical, but protective, ensuring that the dream remains more a reflection than a forensic record. Researchers are also emphasizing the therapeutic potential. Psychologists suggest that recording dreams could help patients identify recurring themes linked to anxiety, trauma, or depression. In therapy, reviewing dream visuals could provide a new tool for dialogue between patient and practitioner. In one hypothetical scenario, a patient haunted by recurring nightmares might finally gain clarity by watching the dream, confronting the imagery in a safe and controlled environment. What makes this moment unique is that science fiction is colliding with science fact. Films like Inception once invited us to imagine machines that could capture dreams. Now, prototypes are real, though far from perfect. And yet, every blurry dream image decoded in a lab, every hazy video reel generated on a bedside device, brings us one step closer to understanding consciousness itself. If the 20th century was about recording the outside world through cameras and microphones, the 21st may become the era of recording the inner world. Imagine parents one day compiling their child's dream journal into a visual diary, a surreal chronicle of growth. Imagine historians studying the collective dreams of a generation, unlocking insights into cultural fears and aspirations. Anthropologists might one day compare the dream imagery of people across continents, looking for universal symbols and motifs that transcend culture. The potential is breathtaking, but the risks are equally significant. And here's where the stakes rise. If dream recording becomes widespread, we may find ourselves debating not just data privacy, but subconscious privacy. Could an employer demand access to ensure workers are free of stress or hidden biases? Could governments weaponize dream data for surveillance? Could marketers exploit dream records to plant targeted advertisements in the most vulnerable corners of the mind? The possibilities force us to confront questions about autonomy and consent at an entirely new level. The very definition of private life might need to be rewritten. The commercial side could move fast. Open source hardware, like the Dream Recorder, shows how easily technology can spread once the blueprints are public. Within a few years, we might see DIY dream recording kits as common as fitness trackers today. The accessibility makes it exciting, but it also means ethical guardrails will be harder to enforce. Just as early smartphones exploded into society before we had rules for data protection, dream recorders could leap into households before society fully understands what they unlock. If you're fascinated by what you've heard so far, subscribe, like, and turn on notifications, to keep following this journey into one of the most extraordinary frontiers of human experience. Still, the dream frontier holds immense promise. In medicine, imagine being able to detect early signs of dementia by analyzing recurring dream patterns. In creativity, entire new art movements could emerge, driven by dream-inspired media. And for ordinary people, dream recording might offer a way to reconnect with their inner lives in a world that often feels distracted and disconnected. Think about the wellness industry, which already thrives on meditation apps and mindfulness tools. Dream recording could be the next evolution, turning sleep into a space of exploration instead of escape. What happens when machines not only decode dreams but predict them? Researchers are already speculating about using AI models to anticipate dream themes based on waking behavior and brain activity. If that comes true, dreams could shift from private mysteries to algorithmic forecasts, and that could change the very meaning of sleep. It raises philosophical questions too. If a dream can be predicted, does it still hold the same mysterious power, or does it become just another dataset in a world already saturated with information? For now, dream recording is imperfect, hazy, and limited, but so were the first cameras, the first phonographs, the first radios. Each of those inventions transformed society in ways no one could predict. Dream technology may be next, bridging the final gap between our waking lives and the vast, uncharted territories of the subconscious. The first photographs looked ghostly and crude, yet within decades, they became the foundation of mass media. Today's hazy dream reels could be tomorrow's crystal-clear recordings of the subconscious. So, as you drift into sleep tonight, ask yourself, if you could watch your dreams tomorrow, would you want to? Would you risk the intimacy of the subconscious for the clarity of a recording? The rise of dream recorders is not just a scientific milestone, it's a mirror held up to the human soul. The closer we come to decoding it, the closer we get to unlocking what it truly means to be conscious. Subscribe, like, and turn on notifications to keep exploring the future with us. This is Tech Mythos.